And we are back with a special edition of AC 360, counting down to President Trump's first big speech to Congress. Several senators who competed for President Trump's job, of course, will be in the audience tonight, including Bernie Sanders. The former candidate for the Democratic nomination is with Dana Bash at the Capitol. Dana?
Thanks, Anderson, and thanks for joining me, Senator. I want to start by asking you about an excerpt from what we expect to hear from the president tonight. The White House just released it. And the president will say the time for trivial fights is behind us. What's your reaction?
You know, this is a man who has been attacking Muslims. He's been attacking Latinos. He has been attacking the media. He has been attacking judges who ruled against him. And now he has concluded that the time for trivial fights is behind us. Well, I hope he's right. We have some enormous problems facing this country. We've got a middle class in decline. I hope he will tell us tonight that he's not going to give huge tax breaks to billionaires. We have 28 million people who have no health insurance. I hope he will tell us tonight that he's not going to throw 20 million people off of health insurance.
The other thing that President Trump said today to reporters is that he thinks that the time is right for an immigration bill and a compromise. He said he wouldn't go as far as a path to citizenship, but perhaps legal status. So the question for you is that something that you think you could work with the president on?
Well, I have believed forever that we need comprehensive immigration reform. I believe that we need a path towards citizenship. What I am very nervous about, Dana, is this president trying to divide us up by going after undocumented people, by turning one group of Americans against another. So comprehensive immigration reform, absolutely the right thing to do.
Even if it doesn't have path to citizenship?
Well, the devil is always going to be in the details, and I think we're going to have to work it out. I happen to believe that there should be a path towards citizenship.
Speaking of working together, the president is also apparently going to talk about reaching across the aisle on a few issues. One of them is infrastructure. You have said, at least right after the election, you called the president's proposed plan a scam, but then have since said, well, no, maybe it is something you can work with him on. So where do you stand on this infrastructure situation?
Right. If you'll remember, several years ago, I introduced legislation calling for $1 trillion infrastructure plan, which would put about 13 million Americans back to work at decent paying jobs. I'm glad that Mr. Trump has proposed $1 trillion plan. So the idea of investing heavily in rebuilding our roads and our bridges and our water systems is exactly the right thing to do.
So this is something you can work with him on?
The idea is the right thing to do. The question is how you pay for it. You don't pay for it, as I think Trump is talking about, by giving huge tax breaks and tax credits to Wall Street and billionaires. That's not the way you pay for it. But I would hope that we can come together to come up with a reasonable funding plan which rebuilds our crumbling infrastructure and puts a whole lot of people back to work.
I also want to ask you about the desecration of Jewish cemeteries. In a speech tonight, CNN has learned that President Trump is expected to address recent anti-Semitic incidents and threats to Jewish sites like cemeteries. What do you think he should say? What do you want to hear from him?
Well, all you have to say is that this is reprehensible behavior, that in America, we will not tolerate racism of any kind. We will not tolerate Islamophobia. We will not tolerate anti-Semitism. Remember, before he ran for president, Donald Trump was the leader of the so-called birther movement, which was a racist effort to undermine the legitimacy of our first African-American president. I would hope that he learns that that's not where America wants to go, that we will not tolerate anti-Semitism or Islamophobia or racism or sexism or homophobia. America is beyond that. We don't need a president who tries to bring back those issues.
I just want to ask about the moment for you. You yourself obviously went through the presidential campaign. Now here you are on the other end as a member of the United States Senate, preparing to hear President Trump address the United States Congress. What's going through your mind about this moment?
Well, what's going through my mind is I am a United States Senator today, and I'm trying to do the best that I can for the people that I represent in the state of Vermont and working people throughout this country. And what's going through my mind is that I have very serious concerns about the direction of a Trump administration that wants to throw people off of health insurance, do away with pre-existing conditions, ignores climate change, hasn't said a word about the fact that college is so unaffordable to millions of people. Those are the issues I'm focusing on now.
Senator Sanders, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Anderson, back to you.
Yeah, Dana, we're getting closer to the president's speech. We're learning more about what the president will say and why it may feel different tonight. Stay with us.